Hello, this is Mr. B's Ukulele Channel's How to Purchase a Ukulele Guide. And we're going to have a quick look at some recommended brands for your ukulele purchasing and where to start regarding the size and what to look out for when you're purchasing your first ukulele. Now, first of all, there are different sizes of ukulele. The basic standard size that you'll come across in most shops and online if you look for a ukulele to purchase is called a soprano. And that's this size here, and that's the standard one. And the next size up is a concert ukulele, which is just slightly taller and wider, and is a slightly bigger version. And that's something you can go on to after a couple of years. It's a nice progressive instrument to move on to. However, the one to really start with is the soprano ukulele. Now, if you're curious as to how you know which one they are when you're purchasing, well, most of them will be labelled a soprano ukulele. Also, the height is different, so you can measure from the base to the top of the neck, and that measurement there is what defines the size of the ukulele. So a soprano ukulele is 53 centimetres in height, a concert ukulele is 58 centimetres in height. You also get a tenor ukulele, which is 66 centimetres in height, and a baritone, which is 76, so a considerably larger instrument. Now, the soprano, concert and tenor, you are good to go with all three of those and move between the three whenever you like. They all have the same notes and the same strings and vitally the same chord positions. Be warned about moving on to a baritone ukulele or thinking in the shop, wow, that looks fantastic, let's get a baritone. That has different strings and different chords. So if you go onto a baritone, you'd have to learn different chords. So just be very wary about a baritone ukulele, and that's not a move to make early on in your ukulele playing career. However, getting a soprano and then moving on to a concert ukulele is something you can do relatively early on if you wish to. Although a soprano ukulele is perfectly good, and a lot of very good ukulele players stick with the soprano ukulele all the way through. Now, when you're making a purchase, what do you look out for? Well, first of all, I would recommend buying a wooden ukulele. I can't categorically say don't buy plastic, because I know a student at school who's recently purchased a very interesting transparent plastic ukulele, and it sounds great. So I can't say don't buy plastic, because they're not as bad as they used to be by far. However, a quality wooden ukulele will give you a nice all-round sound. So generally go for a wooden ukulele, and you can get wooden ukuleles for about £20. And they normally come with a case as well, so always a good idea to get a case with it. Just keeps it nice and protected. So if you can get one for about £20 with a case, then you're buying a decent quality one. That's about the standard price for a beginner's instrument. So wooden instrument. Just be very careful of the tuning pegs at the top. Some of them don't have the pegs sticking out the side. Some of them just go through and have a sort of plastic bit on the back, and you can't actually tune them. So just have a look and make sure you've got 4 tuning pegs that you can see in turn. Make sure you've actually got a metal cog on each one. It's the metal bit that really matters. And if that bit's metal with a plastic peg on the end, that will work, and that's important, because the really cheap ones on the market, which are more children's toys than actual instruments, are just plastic all the way through here, and they don't work at all. They're just toys. You can't tune them. As long as they've got the metal cog on the back. And if you're buying one second hand, I know someone did a while ago. They bought one second hand, and some of the teeth are missing on these cogs, and they couldn't actually tune their strings. So just be careful of that, and make sure that the teeth are intact and the cogs are in good condition. They can be replaced. It's not a disaster. That whole bit there can come off. You can see it unscrews, and that can be fixed. But just make sure that's the bit there to make sure metal cogs and wooden body, and you're in good to go really. The other thing to make sure, just have a look sideways down the instrument, and you're having a look between the strings and the black soundboard. Specifically, you're looking at the metal lines, the bars that go across the soundboard. Make sure your strings aren't catching on those metal bars on the soundboard. The very first ukulele I purchased, one of the strings was just slightly rubbing on that top metal bar, and it meant that every time I played I got a sort of unfortunate twang sound that I didn't want, so I had to send it back and get a replacement. Basically, your strings should be touching this plastic bar here, and then they should be free of the board all the way down to this plastic bar here, and they should be touching nothing in between. So just have a quick look down the side, close one eye, and you should be able to see clear air through, basically underneath the strings and between the soundboards. So it's just something to keep an eye on as well. Make sure you've got nothing catching those strings, just because obviously when they're produced sometimes a bit might be sticking up or something. Just something to be aware of. So wooden body, metal tuning pegs, make sure your strings are clean, make sure it comes with a good case. If you don't like the case it comes with, you can purchase, there's loads of ukulele cases on eBay, you can purchase a nice one, they're not too expensive. This one's got a bit of padding inside, it's got a pocket on the front and a strap on the back, so I find that's a really good one for my concert ukulele to carry around in. I'd recommend starting on a soprano ukulele and then stepping up to a concert ukulele after a few years if you want to, but whereas a good decent soprano ukulele will only cost about £20, a concert ukulele is going to set you back more, about £50 or so. So they are certainly more expensive and not necessarily necessary. You're perfectly good with your soprano, but that's a nice upgrade. If you do go for it, it's just a bigger sound. You can hear straight away the difference. If I play my soprano and then I play the concert, you've just got a nice, more rounded, deeper sound on the ukulele. So there you are, that's my advice for how to buy ukuleles, what to look out for. You can get them online at a good price, and you can get them in the shops at a very similar price. So I hope that helps. Happy playing.